Now that we have already installed Putty, and as you can see, we have the Putty shortcut available on our desktop. Before we open Putty, there is one other step that we need to do. When you installed Putty, it would have also automatically installed a small utility called Putty Gen along with it. Putty Gen stands for Putty Key Generator. Let's open Putty Gen. I'm using Windows 10, so I can simply click on Start and start typing Putty Gen, P-U-T-T-Y-G. There it is, Putty Gen. Open it. If you are on some other operating system, you can find the Putty Gen executable somewhere in your Putty installation folder. Select the option to load an existing private key file. Click on Load. Now, if you can recall our previous session on setting up the Amazon EC2 instance, we had downloaded and saved a .pem file, so it's there in my Downloads folder. But then why doesn't it show up in my Putty dialog box? Oh, that's because it's filtered by file type. Let me remove the filter. Yes, there it is. Select the .pem file. Open. It gives you a confirmation that the import was successful. Click OK. Click on the Save Private Key button. Now it warns you that you have not set up a passphrase. Ignore it for now and confirm. Need to provide a file name here. Let's name it keypairdemo.ppk. Click Save. Okay, so now you have the ppk file too in your Downloads folder. Let's close Putty Gen. Now the reason we used Putty Gen was to convert this .pem to a .ppk file. AWS provides a .pem file, but Putty needs a .ppk file. So we used Putty Gen to do the conversion for us. You won't need to use Putty Gen anymore. This was just a one-time process. Unless of course you create a new key pair in AWS, in which case you will need to repeat the last step. Now let's close this folder, go back to our desktop and open Putty. You need to tell Putty the host name that it needs to connect to. We can get it from our AWS EC2 dashboard. This is the EC2 dashboard. If you don't know how to get here, please watch the session on creating a Linux instance on AWS once more. From here, we need the public DNS of our EC2 Linux instance. Here it is. Let's copy that. Let's paste that into Putty here. Unlike Windows, there is no concept of a guest login in Linux. You will need a user ID to log in. All Amazon AMI Linux instances come with a pre-configured Linux user ID, EC2-user. So let's enter it here. So the format to be used is user ID @hostDNS. Also, make sure that the port is 22 and the connection type is SSH. We provided the user ID, but where do we provide the password? Well, we don't need to, because we are going to use a public-private key authentication to log in to the EC2 Linux instance. The traditional way is to use a user ID and a password, but Amazon AWS recommends this alternative. We will definitely be looking at the traditional way of logging in further down in the course, so don't worry, just follow along for now. Next, we need to tell Putty the location of our private key file. Under the category navigation bar on the left hand side, under connection, click on the plus beside SSH to expand it. Click on auth. Don't expand it, just click it. Under the section private key file for authentication, click on the browse button. Before that, let's make sure the PPK file that we generated earlier using PuttyGen is available. I can see that it's there in my downloads folder. Let's navigate to our PPK file. There it is. Now in the category pane, let's scroll up and go back to session, which was where we started. Now highlight default settings and hit save. We are doing this so that we don't have to repeat these steps the next time we log in. We are all set now. Click open and hold your breath. Here we go. There it is. You're now inside Linux. Stand up and applaud yourself for this awesome achievement, and I'm really happy for you. I'll maximize this. Now the window that you see here with the black background is called a terminal window. An immediate problem that you notice with this window is that irrespective of the size of the window, the font size is way too small. Click on the top left corner. This will bring up a menu. Click on Change Settings. In the left hand side category pane, select Window. The default column and row size is 80 and 24. Let's change that. Let's increase it by say 50%. So let's change 80 to 120 and 24 to 36. Also, select the radio button which says change font size only when maximized. Also, tick the checkbox which says display scroll bar in full screen mode. That's it, but before you click on apply, go back to session from the category pane, highlight default settings, save, apply. Again, this is so that these settings, what we just did, get permanently saved. So the next time you log in, Putty will remember all these settings and you won't have to repeat all of these steps. Now click on the upper left corner of the terminal window again and select full screen. Great, the font readability looks much better now. Now the display settings are more of a personal preference, so if you prefer something different, go ahead and play around with the display settings until you find one that suits your taste. Anytime you want to exit the full screen mode, please note that the escape key will not help you. You will need to move your mouse pointer to the upper left corner of the screen and click. Left click, not right click. It will bring up a menu where you can deselect full screen and it will take you back to window mode. That's it, and I will see you in the next session where we'll start working on this Linux instance.